Guys, welcome to this lesson of Estheticians and Business Academy waitlist. And I'm so excited you guys are here because that means you're on the waitlist. And Estheticians and Business Academy, EBA, will be launching super soon. So I'm just excited you guys are here because I'm just super grateful that I have the opportunity to train you and you get to watch this. But basically, we're just going to be going over part of the course. I'm just going to be doing an overview of like prepping for your business and really just like financially and like legally being ready for it, because I feel like that's definitely something that's just not communicated enough in our industry of like how to legally be an esthetician, how to legally run a business. So let's get started with that, guys, because I'm just super excited. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is about being or having a business description. So if you guys don't know, at the end of EBA, you will actually have had a full business plan created. I would have gone through every single step of creating an entire business plan, which basically means that you will have the ability to take that and put it together, take that and go to your, I don't know, investors, go to financial places, go to places that you need to show a business plan to and have it all written out. And what's so cool about this is because it's going to be able to allow you to really know what's happening in your business. So, and that's kind of the first step of this is when you're making your business a legal entity, you really want to know like what it is. What are you doing? What is your business description? And I'm going to talk about a vision and mission statement. And sometimes, when I used to hear, especially when I was getting my master's, people talk about vision and mission statement. I'm like, gross, I don't want to talk about that anymore. It's annoying. But it's actually really important because a vision statement essentially I want you to think future. Like, what is your vision? Where are you going? Like, what is expected from you in the future in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Like, what do you want to see? And then a mission statement is what you're doing now. So, like, the things that you are helping with your clients, like, what are you doing? Are you, the Acne Slayer 3000 over here? Like, are you somebody who's taking relaxation and correction and combining them? Like, what is that? And make that sound pretty, right? So, like, I want you to think of the things that when people ask you, like, what do you do? You're able to give them your mission statement. That is your tagline. That is your thing. So, that is basically what a vision and mission statement are. And I would encourage you to write those out and just really, even if it's not in something that's really long, just like write out a sentence or two, which is basically what it is, of what you want to see your business in a few years and what you want to see your business in now. What are you doing right now? I'm not talking finances, I'm talking the impact you're making. Like, think impact, okay? The next one we're talk about is naming your business. So I think that is a part that is also not talked about enough is naming your business and making it an effective name. You want to make sure when you name your business, you're naming it something that people are like, oh, this is what this is, right? You don't want to name it something and it's completely different. Like, you don't want to have like a lash artist place and you name it something like waxing. Like, you want people to recognize it and be like, oh, this is what this is. And the other reason I mention this is because, guys, if you're going to do business as something else other than your name, you have to register it, um, which we'll talk about in just a second. But you also want to check availability on it. So like my name is Allison Steinberg, and I did business as I Am Day Spa. I had to check availability on that. And there's a few ways you can do that. One, you can obviously like just Google and see if what's available. But that doesn't stop you. Like, if there's I mean, it could be taken, quote unquote, taken on a domain, but it doesn't mean it's not available. What you're really going to do to be official with making sure it's available is you're going to go onto your Secretary of State. So if you like say you live in Florida, Alabama, whatever, and you're going to go on there and you're going to search that name and see if it's available. Okay. And then it's available, awesome sauce. Then you're going to go into uspto.gov, and I will put these links in the email where you're able to check there to see if it's available. This is where you trademark, copyright, register, whatever your names, your just like rights. It shows ownership of things, and so that is where you can also check on there if it's available. Cool sauce, right? Awesome. You just want to make sure that you are naming you naming your business after something that is available and not something that's taken. Like, you don't want to name your business Hand and Rock, and like Hand and Stone obviously is taken. And so that's very, very close, and people can, obviously see that it's super close. Hand and Stone essentially could sue you. So you just want to make sure, like, if you're making a lot of money. So you just want to make sure that you are registering or you are checking availability. Now, registering your name is very similar to getting your business license. So when you are registering your name or getting your business license, you have to speak to your county clerk. So your county or city clerk, you can Google it like in your area. And basically, what you're going to do is you're going to tell them, hey, I opened up a business here. And this is the name I'm doing business as. You might see it as DBA. And they're going to tell you you need to register that name. So you're going to go in that Secretary of State to make sure it's available. And then you're going to go through the process they're going to walk you through of registering it. It's usually going to need your license. So, like your actual license, driver's license. It's also going to probably need to see your esthetician license to prove that you are, doing what you're doing. Then you're typically going to have to submit that what you're doing. It's going to have to be published in a newspaper. At that point, you're going to get that little newspaper, usually emailed to you, like the article of it that you've opened. You're going to mail that into your county clerk's office and usually pay some type of tax. Sometimes you can hear a business license be called a business tax. Same thing. I think I pay like 56 bucks or something like that every single year to like have my business license. And this is really important to have because if you're running a business without a business license, you could lose your license. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. And registering your name actually takes you through that process because it's showing that you are a business owner. Okay. So the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is identifying your business structure. So if you are an esthetician and you've done nothing, with your business structure, you are automatically a sole proprietor. That's it. You're a sole proprietor. It's not that big of a deal. It just basically means that your business is you. You are your business. There's no separation. It also means that you can file your taxes as personal taxes, not as business taxes. There is a pass-through taxation, which basically means that all your like write-offs and stuff like that, you can really get a ton of. Now, I'm not a tax professional, so I'd recommend working with one of those if you have more questions. But if you're doing an LLC, that would be the other option. That is a limited liability company, which basically means that you have a separation between you and your business. So if someone were to sue you or someone were to sue your business, they couldn't come after you. Now, there's a whole process to getting that, but basically you can go through your Secretary of State and apply for an LLC. I would not recommend going through or you go through your internal revenue system. I would not recommend going through like other lawyers or like third parties because they can cost a ton of money. It doesn't cost that much to become an LLC. It costs a ton of money. I would just recommend just staying with the LLC. And then when it comes to paying your taxes, I would definitely recommend working with a tax professional to make sure you're doing everything correctly. All right, so the next thing, guys, we're going to talk about in-home spa laws. So if you choose to have a business in your house, there are some laws you got to follow. So there are some things you have to know. One, you still have to have a business license to tell them like this is what's happening. You want to make sure that you have the permits you need for an in-home occupational like permit is what it is. And so basically you have a permit to run a business in your house. And so you can Google that, like Google what I just said, and the permit should come up. Now, obviously, I walked through you guys through all of this in the course, but these are kind of just the overview of like how to do it. Um, but anyway, so you can do that. You need to make sure you're like zoned to be able to have an in-home business. Also, if you have an HOA, it's really important to tell your HOA, like, hey, I'm gonna have a business in home. Just make sure there's no residential issues because you don't want to like get shut down, right? That would suck. And then, of course, if you need signage, you might want to have a permit for that if you're gonna have something in your yard, which typically your HOA, if you have that. But another story for an HOA another time. Anyways, and then there are some rules that typically you have to have. So depending on your state, you have to be able to have a bathroom that is in the house that the client can access without going through personal space. So they can't go through the kitchen or like through the bathroom to access their or they can't go to the kitchen or the living room to access the bathroom. So you just want to make sure that you have like that availability. Some states require you have a separate entrance where it's not your front door. And then, of course, the sanitary guys, you want to make sure you speak to the health department and you tell them so they can come and do an inspection because we work with a lot of private things and you want to make sure your sanitary things are up to code because you don't want to get shut down for sanitation issues because it's gross, but also an issue. And then just on the professional side, guys, like put your dogs up, put your husbands up, Anyways, I'm trying to keep this under 10 minutes, so I'm not doing very well. But anyway, so we're going to talk about staying within your scope. Now, staying within your scope is really important because there's a lot of times that we can be offered things as estheticians where they can be like, hey, you can microneedle, or hey, you can dermaplane, or hey, you can do this, or hey, you can do lasers and all this stuff. And it's like, woo! And maybe we do have the education to have done it. Maybe we do have the ability to do it. But it doesn't make it legal. It just doesn't make it legal, guys. So you have to make sure that you are doing what's legal in your state. Like, for instance, I was microneedling, and in Florida, whenever I had my business, when I, first opened my business, and it came down like a year later that they took away microneedling. That I can like do nano needling. You can't go a certain depth. And there's certain states that don't let you dermaplane, guys. And so you have to remember that, like, those places where you are and what you're allowed and not allowed to do. Now, this industry is massive, so there's obviously tons of options, but just make sure you're aware of it, because if you're doing something that's outside your scope, your insurance is not going to cover you, which means if something crazy happens, that's on you. And so you want to make sure that you're not doing something that's going to potentially make you lose your business, and also potentially just cause you issues and bad reviews and just things down the line that are wrong. And on top of it, if things are out of our scope, like, it's probably just not a good thing that we do it. We just, we typically, what are we trained for, like a year at the max? So you want to make sure you're doing things inside your scope, and don't let salespeople get you. Know what your scope is. So, and you can access all that on dbpr.com. Those a great place. You can also call them and ask them as well. They are very nice. But anyways, guys, this is the next training for the waitlist. I hope this was helpful. I really try to make it under 10 minutes, but we're going on 12 minutes. So love you guys. See you later.